Hi folks, so I'm in the middle of editing this video that I did today at Joanne's. You'll see it in a bit, but I noticed something on the video that I wasn't aware of at the time. Now a couple of little things I'll go into. In fact, I'll show you this in a second. So let me just give you a little bit of background on this. So basically, Joanne's told me in the past, I've always taken with a grain of salt, to be quite honest. I mean, as much as I love the paranormal and I watch all these ghost things and all that lot, and like I said before, I may have mentioned this, I'm not sure, that, you know, actually, let me just put the camera over here a minute, because rather than me holding it all the time, might be a bit easier. So, basically, my opinion on the paranormal is I believe people have real experiences and that is a real phenomena. I just debate on people's interpretation of what that phenomena is. So, you know, obviously most people jump to the conclusion straight away that it's ghosts or spirits or demons or what do you call it? Those noisy spirits, I forgot what you call them for a minute, poltergeists or whatever sort of thing, blah blah blah. And you know, as much, it's like there's a part of me kind of wants to believe it, because I'm only human at the end of the day, and like most human beings, you know, the finality of death is kind of like a bit of a, you know, thing that we don't necessarily want to contemplate or whatever, maybe frightens us to some degree or whatever, blah blah blah. So I think it's a sort of very sort of basic, deep-seated human need, if you like, or whatever sort of thing. You know, it's a very primitive sort of basic fears we have around death and dying and so on and what have you, sort of thing. So I think a lot of that's where a lot of this stuff comes from, kind of thing. And like I said, we all kind of want to believe that maybe there's something afterwards, perhaps, you know. Anyway, so, but my point is that I'm very logically minded and always try to find rational reasons for things, and so it's kind of like, I'm not sure if I 100% buy into it being ghosts or spirits sort of thing, but that doesn't mean to say that I'm not as fallible as the next person for falling into that trap and believing it might be a ghost or whatever sort of thing. So, but like I say, for the most part, I try to find a logical reason for things. So, as I said before, I'm not 100% certain whether I really believe in it being the spirits of dead people or whatever. Anyway, so the thing is, Joanne said that she once, well, twice experienced a little Victorian boy come into her house. She said he was dressed in Victorian clothes, came knocking at the door one day, asking her for a jam sandwich. She went in to make the jam sandwich. She came back to the door and he'd gone. And then there was another time apparently that he appeared while she was sleeping on the sofa. She woke up to see the little Victorian boy standing right over her, and then next minute just completely vanished right in front of her. So, like I said, I take these things with a little bit of pinch of salt. I'm not saying that she didn't experience that, or I don't, you know, I'm not saying I don't totally disbelieve her, or she was imagining it, or whatever. Like I said, I'm just, I wouldn't normally jump straight to that conclusion that it was a ghost or whatever. But her sister said the same thing, and you know, other family members apparently have experienced some things in there, creaks on the stairs, this, that and the other, blah blah blah. Anyway, so like I say, I've been there tons of times. I've even slept there a couple of times when we first met and everything, and da-da-da. Anyway, the thing is that I've never really experienced anything, but I must admit, I've never really felt 100% comfortable in her house. And I always put that down to just the fact that, like, I've always kind of been like that in other people's houses, sort of thing, you know what I mean? I've just always felt a little bit like a spare part kind of thing, a little bit awkward or whatever. So, you know, I've always kind of put it down to that. Not anything necessarily supernatural or anything. But like I said, anyway, I'll put a clip of this. I was going to just show you on this video, but I'll link a clip. I'll edit a clip of this. Basically, I was taking up the tiles from the floor. Like I said, I'll probably end up posting this one first. No, hang on. No, I'll post this one first actually, and then you can see the full video of me doing the tiles. Anyway, I'm on her landing upstairs. I'm taking the tiles up. Now, one, I think it's to do with me, you know, the vibrations of me lifting those tiles up and moving about on the landing, because the landing floor does move. Do you know what I mean? You can see it in the video when I'm walking across it, sort of thing. It dips down, so there's definitely movement in that floor, which, you know, it's possible it's to do with the vibrations of me moving around. It's either that, or it could be that where that cupboard is and where you'll see the door moving is a boiler. It's an airing cupboard and there's a boiler in there. So the only other explanation I can think of is that it's air currents. So because it looks like the door actually opens outwards onto the landing, but it seems to be moving inwards, which seems a bit odd. But maybe there's movement in that door. I've never checked how tight that door is, you know, whether it's a nice tight fit and the door doesn't move when you just pull on the handle or whatever, or whether there's a bit of give in it. You know what I mean? It's a bit slack. Some doors are like that, aren't they? A bit slack where you can just rattle them. You know what I mean? So that you're not actually opening it, but the door's got a bit of give in it. You know what I mean? From the door jamb to what's the, you know, there's a bit of movement. So I'm not sure how tight that door actually is. So I'm assuming that it's air current because there's a boiler in there. As we know, hot air rises, and there's a false ceiling in that, because when they were fitting all the boiler stuff in and putting a new kitchen in and stuff, they left that open at first, and you can see it goes all the way up to the rafters of the roof of the house. So I'm assuming that it's an air current that's sucking the door and making it move like that. Because the movements don't always correspond to my movements, which I noticed, which is another thing, you see. So even though I'm moving about on the landing there and I'm lifting those tiles up and what have you, the door movement isn't always necessarily corresponding to my movements. There are moments when I'm not moving that much and the door's still doing this. So, you know, like I said, I don't really think it's supernatural, but going on what they've said to me and this, that and the other, it does look a little bit spooky, I must admit. It kind of does. But anyway, I'll put a little clip of it with this video. I'll upload this video first and then I'll finish editing this one. Right, okay, so I just wanted to tell you guys about that because, like I say, I was thinking of maybe just leaving and not even bothering that. But then I thought, like, I wonder if somebody will comment on it anyway, sort of thing. And I thought, like, it'd be interesting to see if somebody else notices it. But then I thought, well, it's kind of interesting anyway, so why not make a video about it? So, okay, right, I just wanted to give you, make a little video on that. Basically, I was going to say, give you a heads up again. Don't know why that phrase is in my head at the moment. Right, okay, I'll leave it there for now, and I'll catch you folks later. Bye for now.